Okay, good afternoon. This is Debbie Davis. It is Sunday, November 2nd, 2025. Okay, so I want to touch on something that, some things that are, something that happened to me, and then, there's kind of more to the story too. But I've talked about this, I've done several videos how I've had issues with my vehicle on and off ever since I went to this one mechanic, is CarX in Plymouth, where and I tried going in and telling him, hey, look, my check engine light has been on ever since it's been in here. I've had weird electrical issues. Okay, weird lights coming on and off, weird glitches with my radio. These are electrical issues. Okay, I brought it to the Kia dealership. I brought it to the Kia dealership in Brooklyn Park. I spent $200. They didn't find anything. And then I brought it to another Kia dealership, and they just did a scan and they didn't find anything. But yet somehow my car just stalled the other day out of nowhere. Okay, so we're trying to get to the bottom of it here. So I was just going into this place and just getting they offered a free breakfast at this place. Okay, so and I was just coming out, and there was this lady that had just been in there, and she I don't know, maybe she had seen my videos or something. Okay, because she approached me and she started telling me some things. She said that her friend had been missing, and she believes she's been trafficked. Okay, probably people have seen my videos and they know that I'm totally against that, any kind of trafficking. This country, God is not gonna save a country who's doing this, who's doing the child trafficking and the child sacrifice. It's been, for time after time after time, he's wiped out whole villages, whole civilizations that were involved in child sacrifice. Where everybody just disappears. I personally believe that they were wiped out by God. They were like the Incas and the Mayans, and it's just been like time after time after time where whole civilizations have been wiped out. And I personally, and all of these civilizations, if you look into them, they were all involved in some kind of child sacrifice. Okay, so we know that God is not going to tolerate this, and I'm going to show some scriptures too today, talking about this, confirming this. But anyway, so I come out, and she starts telling me these things, and she goes, they're using the Somalia stores as the drop-off points for human trafficking. And she said the Masons were involved. Okay, and right then, a cop drove by my car, and I've had lots of issues with the police. Okay, and right then, the cop drove by my car, and then when I get to my car didn't start. So did the cop do something to my car? I believe something is going on there. Okay, so I wasn't, I didn't try to approach this girl. She just started approaching me and telling me this stuff. She said, she said that Somalia places here, and we know who else is Somalian, right? Omar. Okay, but so if you remember these videos that I did on my channel that regarding the Somalia issues that I've had with Somalian people, it goes back to what happened with my my friend John's mother. Okay, this was, so John's, my friend John was when I was staying there. Okay, I'm gonna play a couple videos from my channel. So this goes back to. Okay, I'm gonna just play a couple videos. So, the district where my friend John's place was at in Richfield was in the Omar's district, and there's a lot of Somalia there. Okay, I never personally had any problem with them. Okay, but what happened there is I've told this story, is that we brought John's mother in. I mean, she was up there in age, I forgot how old she was, 88 or something like that. I mean, But I mean, it started out with just like a minor lung infection, we thought, and then John was there with her, and like, by the second day, she seemed to be doing better, and but he didn't. I had brought him there. He had a car issue at the time, so I was like bringing him back and forth from the hospital. But like right here, these.
That's way worse.
Okay, I was trying to drop off food.
Oh, that's way worse. Let's just start recording.
Because he hadn't eaten.
Here. Let's see what they
okay,
really
and there's these Somalia guards.
You gonna ask for everybody's names or just my name?
So they have these Somalia. They have these Somalia guards. This is M Health Fairview.
I'm here to give food to John. Would you like to bring it up for me?
And he died.
Since you won't let somebody,
they wouldn't let me bring up food.
Would you like to bring the food up for
like
me?
As if I'm somehow doing something wrong. And they had these Somalian security. These are Somalian people.
And deliver it, since you won't let me bring food up to my friend who.
Okay. Yeah. These are Somalian security that they have at this hospital, and they wouldn't let me even go to the room. It's just like, I'm sorry, why do you even need security at a hospital? Like as if people are going to try to bring in guns and kill people. I mean, it's just, they have like this massive security presence there at this hospital, and they were Somalians. Okay, and then in the flying on the flag at the hospital, I did this video too, is a Somalian flag. Okay, so all he was trying to do was bring him food. He hadn't eaten anything, and he didn't have a vehicle to get around. And they were, so that was like a red flag, right? That was like the second day he was there with his mother. And then they wouldn't even let me make a phone call to the room. Okay, then they wouldn't even let me get a message to the hospital.
Okay, so this is Debbie Davis, and so it is.
I didn't even know if he was still there. This was like 2 days later or something.
Okay.
And I was like, and he hadn't been home.
February 23rd.
Been back,
so
and
I was just over there. Now I'm getting really concerned about my friend John.
They wouldn't even let me leave a message to the room.
Okay,
this is the
Somalian
guards
and
at the
brought him some food, and he was trying to feed his mother, and she was starting to take down fluids. Okay,
Okay, well, anyway, I have a friend there that heard me make the phone call. That neighbor, the lady Patty, who lived in that area, and she heard me, and the hospital wouldn't ring the phone to the room. I was just trying to say, hey, are you okay? Do you need anything else? That's it. It's like, and they wouldn't even. It's like, it's super weird, and then they killed his mother. So, and then what happened is, like the third day or something, he finally gets back. Somebody had given him a ride back, and then he tries to go back. When he tries to go back, the guards tell him he's not allowed to go back there. They told, so this is his sisters were involved in this. So the sisters were trying to take over the care, because they were the secondary power of attorney, but he was the main power of attorney. But the guards went along with the sister, even though John was the main power of attorney. And these Somalia guards actually told John he was not allowed to come back to the hospital, even though he was the main power of attorney. We're talking like professional paperwork from a legitimate lawyer, saying you are the main power of attorney and everything. So this is something, to me, I was like, I had never seen anything like this before. So this is really concerning, what's going on with the Somalis there, and now what I heard this, the other day here. Okay, so John is not allowed to go to the hospital. He doesn't know what's going on. When he finally gets back to the hospital, about a week later, his mother had been starved. They tried to tell him that they tried to put a feeding tube in, but they didn't. He found out they didn't try to put a feeding tube in or anything. They said she wasn't taking down food, she was aspirating it up or whatever. So then they just didn't feed her anything. This is like a week now. She looked totally thin and dehydrated and everything else. And then when he finally gets there, he said they had just given her a pain med. They said it was Dilaudid, but he believes it was something else. It was whatever they gave him killed her. Okay, so when he finally gets back there, they had already given her a pain med without his permission, or they told him it was Dilaudid or something like that. She was already having breathing issues. Whatever the thing they gave her was, it shut down her breathing, and he watched his mother die right in front of his face. Not too long in to when he finally got back there. So that basically what we feel that happened there at this this hospital with the Somalia flag and all the Somalia guards, we believe they're euthanizing the elderly there. We believe that she was euthanized, which is of course not legal in the United States. So this should be concerning for everybody, and so anyway, but that's what she told me. And she told me some other things too, but it's concerning for everybody that we have people disappearing, and that there's all kinds of people that have disappeared in Arizona, homeless people, and it's the homeless people that they're targeting here apparently. So anyway, but yeah, no, I had like I said, I brought my car to a Kia dealership to scan. They didn't find anything. I said, I paid $200. Okay. Then I just literally brought it in. I literally just got my car back. They had did a scan because they had done this before. Like it's driving perfectly, and then I go into a place and then I come out and there's no power. Like it's not turning over. Like it's like it doesn't make any sense to anybody. Okay, so something weird is going on here. We do know about this company here called Digi International out of Eden Prairie, Minnesota, and they have I'm not saying this is what it is. I'm just saying there's something crazy going on here, and it makes me feel like something is. It feels it's like somebody seems to be able to remotely do something to my car, and then so I had a family member that worked for this company. I remember this company, and I was just looking it up, and it says, so Digi International is located out of Eden Prairie, Minnesota. They provide a range of IoT connectivity products and services for industrial, commercial, and enterprise applications. Okay, it's Digi Remote Manager, so they have like ways of remotely controlling things, IoT devices, firmware updates. I mean, I don't know, I'm not a tech person, but to me it sounds like something like that. It sounds like they could be, if they are able to do these type of things with companies, could they do it with other things as well? Because my car's been acting very weird ever since I went to that one mechanic, and they won't take any accountability, these mechanics, to anything as to why it's acting up. So we have to get to the bottom of this, and then like right as the cop drives by, my car has issues. It's like and I have lots of pictures of the police just stalking me for no reason. We have this very dangerous sheriff in South Dakota that makes up false charges on people. I mean, my friend, this one friend of mine out there said he tried just out of nowhere, like years after somebody died, like 5 or more years after this one guy died, the sheriff had some deputies approach this friend of mine who worked for the city just out of nowhere saying, we believe you might have been involved or something like that. Like literally, like years later, he's not anywhere near there. He wasn't associated in any way. But this sheriff, has like he has a reputation for putting false charges on people. He's extremely dangerous. Okay, so we have, these are just crazy issues that shouldn't have never been allowed to happen. When we have to figure out how they have been allowed to happen all these years. But yeah, and then I told the story about this one girl that died in Aberdeen, South Dakota. Her name was Tani Rockwood, and well, she was an Indian woman that was put in this. She was basically in a foster care place for most of her life, and then it was called, I forget what it was called. It was, my friend Paul Register worked there, and he was her social worker, and I don't know, like in her 20s, she she finally got out of there. She had a couple kids. She lived in the Aberdeen area, Andover area, I guess, and and she was basically speaking out about the treatment that she had at this. It was called the Redwood Developmental Center in South Dakota. Okay, basically she was abused there, and I guess she had spoken out a few times about it, and the police were just messing with her. So they did some kind of false charge on her, and then she got her kids taken away because of it. And then she was trying to get her kids taken away. She was about to get her kids back, or she went through the things they told her to do, and then this woman is found dead in her apartment in Andover. Her name was Tani Rockwood. This was in Andover, South Dakota, and they, same type of thing happened. Like, she would have false charges put on her, or some kind of false charge happened, and because of the false charge, her kids were taken away. And by the way, no, her kids, I don't think, have ever been seen again. I mean, she had 2 young kids. Okay, so we have a very serious issue with like I said, and then there's a false charge on me, and then the only person that you have to try to send your evidence to is a state attorney who's not even present, who doesn't pick up the phone. Well, that's not due process. And so they aren't providing due process in South Dakota at all. It's a criminal. This is an emergency situation, with these sheriffs that are allowed to do these false charges. Okay, and whatever's going on with the, these other things that they're able to do. This is so, but I know that God is not allowing any of the human trafficking, and and we're not even going to be. I don't believe we're going to be saved as a nation until we learn this lesson. That he's not tolerating it. So there's a lot of scriptures that talk about it. Okay, so it says in Luke 17:2, it would be better for them to be thrown into the sea with a millstone and tied around their neck than to cause one of these little ones to stumble. Okay, so he's talking about the children, and so there's those, and then there's then there's Matthew 18:6 again. Whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, it would be better for him to have a millstone fastened around his neck and be drowned in the depths of the sea. And then Jeremiah 19:4-5. God declares his anger at the people for spilling the blood of the innocent, including children in Jerusalem. Okay. Isaiah 10:2. The warn against oppressing vulnerable. Mark 10. Jesus valuing and defending children. Okay. It's pretty clear, and it's it has to be a priority, to get rid of this type of thing. Or I don't think we're going to be saved as a nation. It says in Deuteronomy 24:7, if a man is found stealing one, so this is about human trafficking. There's all kinds of verses about it. Okay, it says in Exodus 21:16, whoever steals a man and sells him, and anyone found in possession shall be put to death. Deuteronomy 24:7, if a man is found stealing one of his brothers of the people of Israel, and if he treats him as a slave or sells him, then that thief shall die. So you shall purge the evil from your midst. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of scriptures against human trafficking. Okay. Do what is good, Micah. Do what is good. What does the Lord require of you? But to do justice, to love kindness, and to walk humbly with your God. Okay. So anyway, there's a lot. The scriptures are pretty clear about how God feels about this human trafficking, and but and I'm, all I do is I do these videos and I'm exposing people. I've never done anything personally to any of these Masons or any of these people. Like I just do these videos because it's the harassment. I'm on this targeted list, and it's a constant harassment agenda against us. And they just never stop. They never stop. So the only thing I feel that I'm trying to expose this program. And so I believe they're doing things against me, like this to try to shut me up, of course. But if they have this technology to do whatever these things are doing to our vehicle, this could happen to anybody. This could happen to anybody. And this company is an international company, and they have these remote programs to be able to control things remotely, in your company. And I don't know, I mean, it's pretty dangerous if there is actually something going on there. Okay, this is an international company. It's located right here in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. I had heard about it because I had a relative that worked there. Okay, and I knew it was some kind of remote software, and I just happened to look it up the other day. So apparently there are some type of technologies that are capable of doing this type of thing. And I'm trying to get to the bottom of what's going on with my car. So, please pray for me there that we can, get to the bottom of this, because this is also happening to other women that we're feeling like we don't have anywhere safe to bring our vehicles. There's young women being taken advantage of, and they'll try to say, something else is wrong with your car where it's not. It's like the money-making thing, or they'll actually do damage, like what they did to me. And so, this has become a really serious issue for some of the young women. Like, I mean, it's your job as a mechanic. That's your skill. I have certain skills, like I'm a licensed massage therapist. When you come into me, I do my work on you, and I do, or when I was a CNA, I did my work professionally. If we take our car in and you are a licensed mechanic, we expect to be able to trust you, and we expect you to be able to do the work that you're licensed in the state to do. And if you're not, if you're actually tampering with people's car, then you need to lose your mechanic license. Okay? This is not okay, and women are freaked out. Okay, so hopefully we can get to the bottom of this. These mechanics involved in tampering with people's car, as far as I'm concerned, they need to lose their mechanic license. You have a license for a reason, to operate in this state. And if you're abusing that license and actually tampering with people's vehicles, then why do you have a mechanic's license? Okay, so all right, so that's my video for today.